about rural eats and how it, you're half kidding, mostly kidding, but I think there's,
Yeah.
you have a brilliant mind. So why would rural eats be different than Uber Eats? What rurally is going to happen?
Well, it would be in the country.
No, I get that. I know what rural means. I'm saying, would it only be certain types of food? Would it be delivered to you in a covered wagon?
I don't know if the Mennonites do that. Can we say that? I think they might be.
I'm not even speaking. I'm talking in general with Rural Eats as a brand. It sounds like...
it's a gamble.
Yeah, I definitely...
It's a gamble, like moving to the country.
Yeah, I like it in concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another idea also for a country artist named Keith Rural. All my ideas are kind of based around...
The word rural or rural?
Urban versus rural. No, it's like,
rural.
that's all I got.
That's a lot. Okay, you can
Yeah.
unpack that for an hour. Rural, if you say it like 3 times, it starts to feel funny.
It does. It's hard to put in a song. Rural. How do you say
Have
it?
you put it in a song?
We use rural route a lot. Like
Rural
route.
We went on the rural route. It just even feels weird to say.
On down a rural route road. Because you know how we like to do
Say
the R
it
thing.
slow.
Rural route
Rural.
road. I guess you say rural. I don't know.
I would just go, if I were saying it fast, rural route.
Rural route.
I'm from Arkansas. It'd be the rural
Yeah,
route.
rural route.
The rural. It's the rural route road.
It's not going to be in the title, I don't think.
How did you get a Grammy nomination? I mean this a loving way. How does he get a Grammy nomination?
We were trying to write a pop song that day.
No, I mean, like, how did you get a Grammy nomination?
No, that's what I'm telling you. I'm literally telling you.
I wasn't looking for like the yeah. I was like, how did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's I don't know. We were trying to write a pop song. We took a break and wrote a like a real song.
Are you being for real?
I'm being very for real.
Okay, so I like this. So you were trying to write a pop song.
I think at the time, I shouldn't say pop song. I think at the time, Rascal Flatts were cutting. That was a long time ago. Rascal Flatts were cutting, and we were like, hey, it was me and Barry Dean and Luke Laird. Just go, hey, man, we really need to get something in here. They're looking for a single. So we worked on that and worked on it. And this is true story. We were jokingly writing funny country songs. There was a lot of dirty things that happened, and we were just kind of clearing our minds, I think, for a minute. And then I think Luke Laird's joking lyric was "Diamond Rings and Old Bars." Me and Barry were like, "Wait, that's pretty good." And I think Barry has the recording of that song. It was about 40 minutes it took us to write that song, and then we went back to our other song that nothing ever happened to. And yeah, so we got a Grammy nomination for that thing. But the same Grammys, Laurie McKenna was nominated for Girl Crush. So I just didn't even go.
Yeah, you didn't watch it. You haven't even checked, probably.
I did,
you haven't even checked the result because you know.
I don't think we won.
Yeah. So you're like naturally funny. I mean, I would assume. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. I would assume it drives your wife crazy because you probably know you're funny and you think you're funny. Does she still laugh at you?
She's pretty funny too. Like, but she gets my weird sense of humor.
But does she think? Does she ever go? Okay, I get it. Enough.
Because
my wife, I don't stop.
You don't stop,
and I'm always trying stuff on her, and she's funnier than I am, which drives me absolutely bananas.
Right.
And she is like, okay, enough jokes.
Right.
Because I won't stop. I will try. Does that happen with
Are
your
you
wife?
trying them as in like for stand-up purposes? You are?
Or with her, and I'm curious at the dynamic with your wife is where I'm getting to this. I'll give you an exact example on the nose. I was playing I was doing the Opry, and they're like, okay, you have 12 minutes. And I was just doing straight stand-up because I was getting ready for a couple shows that I was doing here, stand-up shows. And I went out and had a few new jokes, and at the Opry, you can't really launch your full arsenal of jokes. I'm 100% clean, but most people there are older, and they're not going to get pop culture references or even semi-culture. I mean, it's tough. You got to be right down the middle. Yeah. And I went and I told this joke, and got a pretty good laugh at the Opry. And I was like, feeling pretty good. As my wife and I were driving off, and I know if I ask her, she's going to give me her real answer. I don't have to agree with it, but she's going to give me her authentic answer. And I said, hey, that's pretty good. And I said, for me to really feel good about the Opry, you can pull your headphones off. For me to feel good about the Opry, Like that's rare. I said, I really killed. And she goes, yeah, it's good. She goes, but that one joke you did, the new one here, you could actually make that better. I was so offended. I was hurt. I was deeply hurt. Like someone took a knife, stabbed it in my sternum. And I was like, oh, you did and I was like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How do you know about jokes? And she's like, oh, I mean, I guess nothing, but.
I mean, she's like, well, I was sitting there and I didn't laugh.
Yeah, and she was like, I mean, what? And I was like, okay, fine. Okay, just so you feel better, how would you change the joke? And she was like, well, when you're talking about us talking about something serious, and you could say it this way instead of that way. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. So I went home, thought about it, like, God dang it, she's right.
She's right.
So I went out the next time, I did it how she said it. Freaking rocked the place.
That's awesome.
Is it though? Yes, it is. It is. But I was hurt.
Well, it's nice to have somebody sitting
Absolutely.
there that you know is going to say, here's maybe.
It's awesome.
And be able to do that. Yeah.
I just am so weak.
If one of these guys had said, Bobby, hey, you could make that joke better, that probably wouldn't have went so well.
Yeah, that we'd have a different body in those seats. Now, my wife's on, but it hurt a little bit. Like, it was difficult for me. I'm pretty good with it now, not always great, but she's really good at that. And you say your wife is funny. How is she with not only your humor, but what you do for a living? Does she have?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah?
Well, she doesn't love country music. That's not her first thought. A lot of things will be on the radio and she'll, it'll be creeping up the top 10 and I'll play it in the house. She'll be like, oh, I love that. When did you do that? And it's like, well, it's, it's on
by the time it's on the radio, we have a
year
and a half ago, 2 years ago.
But that's super helpful too, and it's easy to, in the same way, I think, I bounce those things off her to go, did we go too far? Is this too, whatever you want to call it, too country, too on the nose, too kitschy? Or there was one time we were driving down the road, and I had gotten a demo back, and I played it for her, and she full laughed. When it got to the chorus, she laughed. It wasn't a funny song.
Oh, I thought it was
No, not a funny song at all. And she laughed, and I kind of paused because I was enjoying it. I was like, man, this demo sounds great, And she laughed, and I was like, wait, what? And she was like, well, it's pretty stupid. It was a really honest answer that I don't think I was prepared for at that time.
Did you feel offended?
Oh, 100%. She still brings it up when, somebody says, oh, Jonathan wrote so-and-so, and she's like, oh, well, he also wrote this song.
I didn't react in a way I'm proud of. I didn't. That's why I brought it up. I was like, how did you?
Oh, I did too. What
was your outward action?
I don't remember. I think 2 or 3 minutes after, a logical conversation about the hook and the way that it fell, and that I agreed with her. But I think initially I was pretty offended, or my feelings were hurt a little bit. Of like, I thought this was great. Like, I thought we were doing great, and I knew at that moment also, because she's just a person that listens to the radio. She's not a songwriter or that there's no way we're getting that song on a record either, so that hurt a little bit too. Cause
it's awesome you have that though.
Do I now?
It's awesome. Do you have that?
Oh, no
Even
doubt.
if you don't go to the well all the time.
Yeah.
If you need to go to the well, do you feel like she's going to give you her honest opinion?
Oh, 100%. And also, she doesn't have. We've been married. We've just had our 18th wedding anniversary, and we've been together for 20. So I don't even really have to ask. If I just put it on in the living room, if she doesn't pay attention, I know I've kind of missed a little bit. And I know that's not the target audience most of the time. If it was Mute Math or somebody like that, she would be 100% in. But
is she big into Christian artists, big Christian music? You said Mute Math. Is that?
No, are they a Christian band?
Aren't they? Aren't Mute Math a Christian band?
I thought so.
Yeah, that's what I thought that was. I like Mute Math too.
Yeah, they're great. No, it's kind of indie stuff, and she likes a lot of. She loves Casey Musgrave. She loves, there's quite a few country artists she loves too, but that's not the first choice. I can tell that she's being nice to me if she puts on 70s and 80s country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't really care about that.
70s and 80s. I'm having Crook and Chase over in a couple weeks together.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me, urban will come by, rural. Sorry, yeah. Keith Rural will come by.
Keith Rural, yeah.
Keith Rural's arch nemesis, Keith Urban will come by, or yourself, prominent songwriter, producer. But like Crook and Chase, that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. They were huge, man. That was what everybody watched.
And I was explaining to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know. She's from Oklahoma, but she's 12 years younger than I am, so she's 30." And she was like, "I must have missed Crook and Chase." I said, I think you did. Yeah, I think you missed Crook and Chase. But I listened to him every weekend.
Yeah.
The Countdown. I used to watch them on TV. I would tell like Jimmy Westbrook from Little Big Town. Like that's how I discovered them. Was they were on Crook and Chase on their
No
weekend
kidding.
show? Yeah, and so
wow.
because at that time I was in Arkansas, but I had gone into like pop and alternative music when I was on the radio. But they're gonna come over, and that's really awesome to me because I was such a massive fan. And with what you do, you get to either write with, mingle, hang out. Who is it for you that you got to meet when you're like, that's freaking awesome? Like personally, that's freaking awesome.
Oh man.
Because you have so many. I mean, and you write, and you have had big artists cover. And I don't mean people that have prominence, but like that's to your own heart. Like this is so cool.
Yeah. You know, we cut the first things I ever cut in town was at Steve Cropper's studio, who was the guitar player for 1,000 Things, session guy, and wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and he's the guitar player in not Blues Traveler, Blues Brothers movie. He's the guitar player.
Oh, that's cool.
And I literally one day somebody was in the back of the studio, and the engineer said, "Hey man, go see who that is." And when I opened the door, like my guy's standing there, Steve Cropper. That was pretty big. I went to the studio one day with Keith Urban to finish. I had to write a bridge. They were like, "Hey, Keith's cutting this song, and he didn't really like the bridge that much. Can you just come over here and write one? Like no pressure." And so I did. He ended up not cutting it. Ronnie Dunn was in Big Machine one day when we were over there, and he was so sweet. He was so nice. I had 2 songs on Ronnie's I think it was his last record. The one Jay DeMarcus did.
He just put one out, so probably the one before.
The one before, I guess, yeah. And I talked to him about it, and he talked about the melody and the lyric and stuff like that. It was real gracious and nice and sweet, and that was pretty great.
Ronnie's one for me too.
Yeah.
Because again, I think we probably have musical same sensibilities.
Right.
Brooks and Dunn, massive.
100%.
I remember where I was in specific parts of my life when those specific songs were on the radio. Like that's how.
Yeah.
And Ronnie and I became. Well, people always warned me about Ronnie. First of all,
I'd heard the same thing,
and they were like, "He's a tough one."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, yeah, so am I. So either we're gonna hate each other, or we're gonna be best of friends."
Yeah.
And he got into like some sort of fight with like one of the, at the time, Clear Channel guys, and I think moved here, and I didn't know what it was. So I was always like, I need to keep one eye open for old Ronnie Dunn.
Right.
And so I was doing comedy as an intro to Reba at the Kennedy Center Arts on CBS. And so I went up and I was doing a few minutes of comedy, and Brooks and Dunn were performing that night, and Kristen Chenoweth. It was all the Reba getting the honor.
Sure.
And so, but I hadn't met them, and I was like, oh boy, I love them. But how do I tell them that without like being a nerd?
Right.
So I didn't. I just I saw them. I said, hey, and Kix is like life of the party.
Right.
You meet Kix, nice, welcoming, big hug, great to meet you, all that. And Ronnie was like, hey man, how are you? He's like, good. Walked away. So cool.
Yeah.
Saw him again, talked a little bit, and we just kind of struck up a conversation. And I went and did some photo stuff with them. We did a charity thing together. Then we became like friends.
That's awesome.
We were like texting.
Yeah.
And I think he thought, hey, Bob's cool. And I was like, and I would get a text and I'd be like, look at my phone. That's Ronnie Dunn texting me.
Right.
He sang it at our wedding, Caitlin and I's wedding.
Oh, that's awesome.
And not as like, hey, would you, my management asking me? I was just like, hey, you got to be here. The Neon Moon, like, it's a sad song, but like when I met my wife, that's a big song. We sang it all the time.
Sure.
And he's like, yeah, I'll sing it for you. And I was like, what life is this? And
That's
it's got to
awesome.
be the same for you at times.
Yeah.
And the first story you told, because I don't know that guitar,
Steve Cropper.
I don't know him.
I'm a super guitar nerd.
Absolutely.
Like,
so I got to think that is so freaking cool.
Oh, it was way cool. Yeah.
And then especially if they're cool.
Yes.
And I assume he was? Or you?
He was very cool.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
It'd been cool if he wasn't. You'd been
Warren,
like, yeah, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, no, he was great. Warren Haynes, I did the same thing with Warren Haynes. He was the guitar player for Government Mule and played with the Allman Brothers when, some of the guys, I wrote with him one day, which was pretty awesome. Do you remember when Kevin Costner had a record deal?
I wasn't here, I don't think.
He was on Universal South, and I was too, many, many moons ago.
Is that the Grove when you were with
Jonathan
the Grove?
Singleton, the Grove, we're on Universal South. So he was doing that. He did this record, which was pretty great, man. And I think he donated all the money that he made on this record to some charity. But nonetheless, so it's me and Randy Hauser, and there was Eli Young Band and a couple guys playing this show, and Kevin Costner was going to play, and we were all in the back in this green room. getting ready. So we're all talking and having a drink. And everybody's talking real loud. And all of a sudden, Kevin Costner walks in the door and it just got deathly quiet in the room. And it was like very quiet. And you could tell he knew. Like, see, he heard the rumbling coming down the hall and then it just kind of stopped, you know. And so he got up and walked over to everybody and was aware of everybody's music and who he was playing with. And,
Really?
And really, really nice, man. And tried his best to make us not be weirdos. But I have a picture with me and Kevin Costner, and my mom still brings it up. She's like, yeah, but I could be like, you know, I got nominated for a Grammy. She'd be like, well, you remember that time you met Kevin Costner? That's pretty cool. Pretty neat.
There's nothing you can do that eclipses that.
It will never top it because she was Dancing with Wolves. That's all she sees. And I was like, oh, my God, the Postman's in here. What are we going to do? It was pretty neat. He was pretty great, and his band was fantastic. Man, it was a good record.
It's a weird question because you have to say something positive, and you probably mean it. But Kevin Costner as an artist, as a singer,
Yeah.
compare him to someone, because I'm not going to say is he good or not. That puts you in a weird position. Compare Kevin Costner as a singer to something.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's a Chris Stapleton singer, you know what I mean? It's probably that kind of, what do they call that? Like a stylist kind of thing. Like, here's the song and I'm going to take it and do what I can do with it, you know? I mean, I don't remember him being a bad singer, but I also don't remember being a great singer. Now I can't say an artist that it's like. You know?
If you went into a place and he wasn't Kevin Costner, he was that same guy that was singing, and it was like a Nashville bar downtown, would you be like, oh, I guess pretty good? Hey, like, you wouldn't think
I
anything.
think so, yeah. I don't think that I would, because his show was different because it was all kind of opportunities for photos is what it was. You know, he would like, you kind of pause and think, and he knew what his game was, but he was also making money for charity at that time too. So, you know, he's like, but yeah, I would think it was good. His band was fantastic, and I remember going specifically to talk to those guys and meet them because I thought they were great players. You know, so he was aware of those guys, or had a friend who was aware that they were great players.
Yeah,
at
like
least
feed it to him in his ear
You
beforehand to
should
let
get
him know.
This guy,
So much has happened for you since the last time we saw each other, not in this room, but on this show.
Sure.
Let's talk about the Luke Combs stuff first. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man.
I mean,
thank you.
I mean, you produced the Cold as You, and I'm going from memory here.
So it'd be the back of the deluxe of the last record and this whole record.
But I'm thinking of the songs, though.
Oh, yeah.
That went number one.
Forever After All.
That's it.
Forever After All. Cold as You
was the one. How did you get on with in the Luke Combs' team? Because Luke has his people.
Sure.
And he has his people.
Right.
And it's hard to break into something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't when he was, air quote, Luke Combs. I did early on, and I signed Luke to a publishing deal.
So you have a history with Luke.
100%. Yeah. I've been on, you know, I was in no way whatsoever take credit for anything he done because he's just great. And he's a great guy and a great singer and a great songwriter and all those things. But I was there. I saw him at Tin Roof. How many years ago was that now? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
I saw a thing today he posted on Instagram. It was like 5 years ago, and it was a tour when he was just playing bars. So probably
probably
5
years ago. Yeah. And we became buddies. We started going hunting and hanging out. And I just thought, what a great songwriter. I didn't think I thought anything about his artist thing because I really wasn't aware of that. It was a songwriter show. We were playing the Tin Roof Revival. So, yeah, it feels like so long ago, and it wasn't really.
It actually isn't. I know. I guess he's done so much. If that makes it feel like
we've been kind of marathoning since all of that started. So we did a little publishing deal, and we wrote a bunch of songs. I think the first song I wrote with Luke was Texas, Houston, We Got a Problem. And then we kept writing after that. And me and Randy Montana were writing with him. He was playing some club in Missouri. We were out on the road with him. We didn't realize how good it was going. You know what I mean? It's like we weren't at the shows. We were at these couple that we went to. And he said, well, I got to have a big song because I'm going to do, when I play stadiums, you know, I'm going to need this big song. So when he left the bus, me and Randy were like, look at this guy, dude. He thinks he's going to play stadiums like soon. You know what I mean? So it was like, whatever, let's pacify this guy. Let's try to write this song. So we wrote Beer Never Broke My Heart was the first, like, big song that I had on this stuff. And then as you kind of move down the page, we had talked about, production stuff, and we had done a bunch of demos together, like his first demo session I did with him, and so it's kind of like in the room, in the conversation of most of those things that were happening. And then when Scott kind of went away for whatever reason, I specifically remember Luke going, well, hey, man, you're going to have to help me produce these records. And I was like, oh, no, I will not. Like, you should call him back and talk to him again. And I think he actually did, and then it ended up being me and Chip Matthews. It's just been fantastic. And Luke's gotten so good at it in the relatively short amount of time. I mean, in musical success years, he's been out for 20 years, but in real time, I mean, it's a short amount of time to get as good as he is at knowing what his crowd wants and wants on the records and wants live. So it might be the easiest job in town, man. I mean, I'm knocking on wood saying
you had
that.
to earn it, though. It's like, it might be the easiest job in town at this point, but it was, I mean, like, you're riding with Luke early because you saw or you heard something in his songwriting. Sure,
man. Those songs were just great. I mean, yes, he can sing anything and make it great, but he wasn't doing that. I mean, he was purposefully pouring over lines, and he still does. It's very specific of what, because he was such a fan of country artists, and especially the 3 or 4 that, the Eric Church thing is, I kept saying, like, quit bringing up Eric Church, dude. Stop. I love Eric too, but he was very shortly removed from being the fan in the front row of those shows.
Yeah.
So he knows what those people want, and he's still that guy. It's hard to stay that way, but he has.
When you guys wrote "Beer Never Broke My Heart," what I love about that song is how forceful that freaking chorus hits you, like in the face. Yeah. Was there ever and this is going to be a really impossible question to answer because you may not remember, but was the melody ever different?
No.
So it was just immediately,
yeah.
Long, I mean,
yes.
Boom.
Well, me and Randy, too. Randy Montana had a record deal in town, too. He's a really good singer. And we get very excited when somebody can sing. I was like, oh, man, dude, he can sing these things. Like, let's do it. Like, you can't wait to be able to do that. A lot of times we're kind of maneuvering melodies for artists, to kind of, oh, well, he kind of does this thing or whatever. But Luke, we were not scared at all. I remember that being to us, it didn't matter what the verses were. As a matter of fact, I think they were mostly kind of afterthought, like once the chorus was set, and I remember Luke beginning to start being really busy at that time, excuse me, and he had to leave and he tells the story too. Like, we kind of wrote the chorus and we kind of had a basis of what the verses would be like. And he's like, come and knock on the door. He's like, hey man, we forgot this radio thing. You got to go to this thing. And he's like, all right, I'll be back. And but once we had the chorus, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter what I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying, yes, the chorus was the thing, and we knew he could do that.
The chorus is the thing on that
It's
song.
the thing. Yeah.
Like, if you like sing that song,
yeah,
it's just that. And also, he sang it 3 feet from me, and it's scary because he's so. Oh, I mean, you're like,
it's like a bear.
Oh my God!
It's like a bear growling.
It's violent.
Yes, it is.
It's like violently perfect, though.
Yeah.
So if you, when you're writing that, I mean, and obviously you had long, but would you sing it that strong?
I tried to. I was singing the notes, but it's not. No way. I mean, I don't think I'm a bad singer.
You're a good singer. No, you actually are a really good singer.
But I've sat next to him a bunch of times, and when I sing, and he knows it too. You know what I mean? He was very aware of my, history as an artist and stuff like that, and so he knows it too. And when we do stuff together, you can tell he's in the very nicest Luke Combs way, just trying to outdo me just a little bit, which is so much fun. But his is so guttural and such a blessing, like voice from somewhere else, Yeah, I was singing the note, but not like Luke sings the note.
Yeah, Luke sings the note.
It's gross and awesome and dirty and
it's
beautiful,
scary and amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
There's only been a couple people, and you will probably lend more than this than I ever could. There's only been a couple people that I've either performed with or beside or sat next to as they perform. So I put that in that close range. That are violent good singers.
Yeah.
I've been able to do a lot of cool things with a lot of great singers.
Yeah.
Shay,
Oh, yes. Oh,
Carrie,
flawless.
like
yes.
the and perfect and strong, but like violent. And John Party,
Yeah.
violent singer.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he's beating that microphone with his mouth when he
Yeah.
sings. Who else? Stapleton gets pretty violent at times,
Well,
but
you
not
know
always.
What, too? His is bizarre in that you would think he was screaming those notes, but they're so controlled.
I agree. That's why I say not always, because
I
you're
know,
like
it's
you're ready for
weird.
it, but only sometimes does he get to that. "Hua!" But it's like he perfectly
Yes.
lays off of it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
If you or I were going to do that, you would have to like rev up. You'd have to run to the microphone from 10 feet away to make that noise.
yeah, I would run. I can even run to the microphone. Yeah, I know.
But there's some, Drake White does it.
Yeah, it's
You
good.
know?
Drake's good. Yeah,
Drake does it where it's that, whoa, like, oh, that's, maybe too much there. It's what it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, but they selling it too, and it's that confidence
Yeah.
of that thing of going, like it's they're going for it. I've wondered a bunch of times, like, do they know they're going to hit that note? Or is it just like, I'm going to do everything I can to, it was like two football players.
Or do they
up
need to
against
go
each
that hard
other.
to hit it perfect?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah.
When I look back at, and I want to talk about Lainey in a second, because won the ACM for Song of the Year, and Lainey and I have been knowing Lainey for a while, which is awesome to see her actually doing really well. But when you go back to the beginning of kind of your catalog of the songs that you wrote, and you and Jim Beavers wrote together some big hits, Watching Airplanes, Billy Currington, Don't, Why Don't We Just Dance?
Yeah.
Similarly funny in a room, you and Jim.
Oh, Jim. Oh, no doubt, man. He's a really, really funny guy. He did the Triple Play Awards this year, which I dread. I don't want to talk in front of anybody. I drank a beer just to come over here. But Jim made that thing so great, man. And he can always find humor in any situation. He's a very funny guy. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I like it because that's what you guys are similar in that you just make me laugh. And so Jim would go out on the road with me when I'm doing stand-up, and I'd put a little music in my stand-up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And so Jim,
that's great.
Jim
man.
has written Jim and I have written a lot of songs together.
Okay.
That are funny songs, like comedy songs.
Yeah.
And, and they're all very kitschy. Fanny Pack, we got a song like that. We got I Saw My Grandmother Naked. We got like, all of that if Ray Stevens was starting right now, that'd probably be more of his. It'd be more of his brand. But I remember Jim going, hey, listen, I'm writing out every day. I'm grinding every day. I'm trying, he's writing with Brothers Oz, but everybody's trying to find their own spot now.
Sure.
And he's like, but sometimes I just am burnt out. I would like to write comedy because I like comedy.
That's amazing. He'd be great. He's great at it.
And so, we have a lot. And I just wonder for you, do you ever go, all right, I'm writing, I'm producing, I'm doing country all the time. Like, I just want to do something that's a little different, a little fun. Because you're so talented when it comes to funny.
Yeah,
do you?
Absolutely. I didn't put any of those things out. Over COVID, I got a buddy of mine, Rob Snyder, bought me this as a gift, which was so sweet. This Steve Vai Ibanez guitar. And about that same time, this new drum pack came out on Superior Drummer, and I did a punk record where I do like I Drive a Truck as a punk song and Girl in the Country song as a punk song. And it felt so fun to spend 5 or 6 days on those things. And I've also done in the barn at the house. I get some guys over, and it's like, hey, let's do songs that I have written, and let's just do them as funky as we can do them, because we grew up doing that. We was in between Memphis and Nashville, in Jackson, Tennessee, and we played blues stuff and funky music all the time, and those have been fun. I wish I had a thing that was not musical.
Do you?
I don't
do you ever
know.
write for funny? Because I'm gonna have to start complimenting you. So this is it. I'm gonna talk about more stuff, but I have to stop the compliments because
I have some comedy questions here in a minute.
Well, you don't. I'm not the one being interviewed. Anyway, so do you ever just go? I have this funny idea, and I want to write a funny comedy original song.
If I do, I write a little bit of them and I send them to Jim Beavers. I have done that.
That's
yes.
awesome. You should do that to me now.
Okay, I will.
I'll put them out. I put them out.
Will. Jim thought a couple of my ideas were good. Me and Jim did write. There was a song called "You Had Me at Man." It was a YouTube thing, and so we were riding one day, and I was telling him this deer hunting story, and I was like, yeah. And so the deer comes by, and I pull my bow back, and I just like that, and he's like, wait, you did what? And I was like, oh, that's how you make the deer stop. You make a deer sound. And he said, and somehow we should write a song called "You Had Me at Man." Anyway, we did. And in the video, there's a deer playing.
You did a video, so you didn't do the song. You did the video too.
Jim went full.
Okay.
He went full on it. And then we also wrote. I never can think of the guy's name that did the funny songs. Not Ray Stevens, but after him, that had all the huge hits. He did the Shania Twain songs and these Rascal Flatts songs.
Yep.
Cletus T. Judd.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We wrote a song after we wrote.
He did parodies mostly, though,
He
right?
did parodies
Yeah,
mostly.
yeah.
So we wrote, after we had written Watching Airplanes, me and Jim were writing one day, and Jim said, wouldn't it be really funny if we rewrote that song? And we were the ones.
You did your own parody.
And we wrote our own parody. And he texted Cletus T. Judd, and he said, hey, man, what if we write Washing Airplanes? Like, this guy that's what he does for a living. He washes airplanes, and I'm just sitting out here washing airplanes. And Cletus said, if you write that, send it to me, and I'll cut it next week. And he did. And I think we had the worst song on the record, which there were some great songs on that record.
The beauty of that is you parodied yourself.
Yes, which didn't feel as weird. But I've never done that because Jim is so good at it, and I've written with him so much. And he's so fast. He's so quick on those things. And I never can. I still want to make them good songs. And that's not what you're... I mean, I'm not saying they're not good songs.
Don't insult me now.
No.
I'm starting to get mad.
No. But Jim, he stopped me. He's like, well, you're thinking about this too much, man. Like, we're just getting down the page. It's funny. It's not a heart thing or a, you know what I mean? Or you're not trying to get a point across. It's just funny.
You don't need too much depth.
Yes.
You don't. I'm doing again a show. This will come out like a week later, but I'm doing a show tomorrow night and Saturday night, and I would just tour and do stand-up. I take Jim out, take my guitar, play a few songs. And I said, how I'm going to do, because I do some motivational speaking too. I do some keynote stuff and combine all, because you and I have somewhat similar backgrounds on how we grew up. Like I grew up in a trailer park a long time. We, didn't have a lot of money.
Trailer park bros.
Yes, that situation. Probably secretly cousins or something. There's a lot of things. We probably have same blood in some way. So I did my first 2. I'm doing 2 more this week. But Jim came out and watched, and I'm like, come look at it.
Right.
Like that. Watch me do this, and then look at it because I want to know what I can do.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take that and flip it over a little bit, though, into like who now will you go, hey, look at this, listen to this, and help me do what I do a little better with a fresh perspective, fresh ears.
Sure. Who do I do that
now?
with?
Yeah, who do you
Oh,
do
my
that
God,
now?
everybody. Like, I'm not a...
You get one person, though. Who is the trust person that you're going to text something to and go, I just wrote this. I don't know if it's right or not because it's a little different. Put your ears on it and let me know your thoughts. And they're not going to go, hey, man, it's great. They're going to go, this part I like. This part's kind of weird. You're going to trust good and bad.
Well, that's a real hard question because it would depend on what it was. A hit song. Is that what we're talking about?
Why not? Sounds good. You write a
song.
it
was, well, I know. I know who it'd be. The weird thing is, she's not a songwriter. I mean, Tally Giles Canterbury that works with us, and I only kind of do that with her. I do it with my wife too, I think. But Tally runs everything for us. So I feel like I kind of know, like lyrically and musically, if that's right. The thing I don't know a lot of times is if that fits in the whatever version of country radio or whatever DSPs or whatever's hot. I don't know if it fits in that thing, and she does know that. So I do that with her.
So that would be where you need perspective. Like, does it fit
100%
into the scope of what is being picked as popular now?
Yeah, I'm purposefully not trying to listen to current country radio, country songs. I shouldn't have said country radio. I forgot where I was. And but you're purposely not trying to do it because you feel like you're chasing something that's too late if you're on that. Yeah. If you're on that train and you go, oh, man, I love Morgan Wallen. I love John Party. I love those things. And I wait. I'm just now on Morgan Wallen's 2 records ago because it's too late for me to try to chase anything that he was doing on that in that time. And a lot of guys are the same way. So I try to not listen to those. And I'm afraid it'll get in my brain. I'm a little scared that I'll be like, oh, man, that thing. Because you kind of know how to do it. It's like if you know a little bit of magic, like here's a magic trick. Well, all I got to do is just hold the cigarette behind my finger for a little bit longer. If we do that in a writing room too, it's like, oh, I see how they got there. But I've got to wait 10 years to do that. And then I'll bring it back.
And then it seems new again. Yeah,
yeah exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any rhymes that you look back now and go, oh, I kind of regret putting that rhyme in a song? Because it was...
Oh, yeah, thousands of them, yeah.
Where you hear it and you're kind of cringe. You're like, I didn't mean to rhyme on and gone. It's so easy.
Or you say the same word. You don't even realize you said the same word.
What comes to mind first when I ask that question? It doesn't even have to be... And if you go, you know what, I'd rather not because I may implicate another person. I completely understand. But and as you think about it, I have things that I have done or written, and I'm like, and that have done pretty well. But I'm like, oh, I can't even...
Well, there's certain rhymes we always make fun of as songwriters, like true and blue. And sometimes you can't help. Like, it's, we look up in the rhyming dictionary, and it's like, I can't believe that I'm looking up the word truck in B rhymes again. Like, I'm doing it again. I know I should know everything that's there. True and blue, trucking up, love and truck.
Wait, love and truck. Hold on. So you're just rhyming the
I mean, it's yeah, you can make it work. Yeah. It depends on how country the artist is, if they can pull that off. Dirt and shirt. It's like the what does they call it? Redneck nursery rhymes. When they feel that way, that's when I get a little bit like I kind of cringe a little bit. But they also work. We've heard those rhymes a million times because they work.
And no one else is thinking about that rhyme like you are, who lives in it and does it every single day.
Right.
Yeah. They're probably like, dang, that works. That's awesome.
People love Dr. Seuss books, man. They love them. Yeah. You know what I mean? They feel so good.
Publisher company that you have now, I'm intrigued for a couple of reasons. So 50 Egg, which is why is it called that?
50 Eggs a Cool Hand Luke reference. Somebody eats 50 eggs.
Oh yeah, I've never seen Cool Hand Luke.
You never seen that? Man,
is that like Robert Redford or something?
No, Paul Newman.
That's the same person to me. I'll be honest with you. For a long time, Selena Gomez.
I can see that.
And who's the one that's like her? Who's the one like Selena Gomez?
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato. They're the same person to me. Like
they could be to me. I don't know either one of those people.
Those two people are the same person to me. So one drove a race car.
Who?
I don't know. Paul Newman. Did he drive a race car?
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Did he?
Isn't that who you're talking about, though? You should know everything about him if you're referencing something about him, right? Isn't
just
that the rule?
Movie. Is that?
50 Eggs. How did you guys come up with that? Then?
Well, I love. that's my favorite movie, Cool Hand Luke. I love it. I think it's great. I've seen it many times.
Okay, well, let's rewind. What the heck is Cool Hand Luke about?
Cool Hand Luke. He's a guy that lives in a small town. He's bored, kind of smart guy. He lives in a small town and bored, and so he gets drunk and he cuts the heads off of parking meters. So they catch him and put him in jail. And so he's in, I think it's Mississippi. Oh, you've heard phrases. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
That's from that movie?
That's from the movie, yeah. So he's in this jail, and the warden guy is kind of like, it's the same guy kind of that's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, with the glasses and the thing and the dark kind of figure that's supposed to be the devil in that movie. Anyway, so in jail, he kind of does things to just pass the time. He said he'll try to break out, or he'll do something funny, or they'll play cards. And there's one time he's playing cards, and he bets all the money in camp, and then they win, and all this stuff. Anyway, so he bets that he can eat 50 eggs, and that's the like the big kind of pinnacle of the movie where it starts.
Does he eat eggs?
He eats 50 eggs. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Does he vomit everywhere? Like what's
he doesn't. He can't vomit. Can't vomit in the movie. That was a rule that they had set to the thing. So he eats 50 eggs, and I can't remember what happens.
How does it end?
I think he gets killed. He just escapes prison and he gets killed. Yeah,
that's how that movie ends?
Yeah, that's how it ends. I mean, that was a long time ago.
God dang, that's terrible. I did not think that's where that was going.
Yeah, we just ruined that movie for everybody.
Well, it came out in like 27 or something, right? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so anyway, in the movie, he also said, well, why would you do something like that? Why would you eat 50 eggs like that? He was like, I don't know, something to do. And
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's where that was from.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way about a publishing company. And I've been working with Tally on that thing, and so our first signing was Luke Combs, and then Reed Isbell that still writes with me and Luke. So now the company is me and Tally and Luke all together, and we got great people, and it's turned into way more than something to do. It's really great and fun, and it seems like a way to help. It seems like a way to help for Luke, to kind of, that's the front lines of Nashville to us. I think is new songwriter comes to town. What do I do? I'm good enough to go play some gigs and have some people hear me. And now I'm going to get like a little bit of money, and that's going to help me do X, Y, Z, or what is it, X, Y, Z? Like C, D, E, at least. So it's fun doing that. And we've had a lot of people come out of that thing, and Ashton Kraft signed to Big Loud, and Tyler Braden's in that pile, and Wyatt McCubbin, Gray Robinson.
Gray, I freaking love Gray.
She's so great.
She, still slightly green, but the right amount of green for her to take that next big step.
Yes, and her songs too, and all the pieces. We kind of like it's songwriters, and that it's songwriters plus. Yeah. I think is what we're doing. But her songwriting is so interesting to me, and I've sat and written with her, and it's like there's a few artists in town where it's like, oh, I should just shut up for a minute, and she's that way because I'm not my perspective doesn't fit into her song most of the time. So you're just kind of helping, and I like doing that more than writing a song for somebody. So you're just kind of helping Gray because she kind of knows where she's going. Her language, the way she gets to things, is so interesting.
Yeah, it's like an advanced emotional quirkiness.
Yes, yeah, that's a good way.
When she and I just listening. Not listening to her sing, because I like her as a performer too, but her songwriting, you're just like, oh, that's an interesting way to say that. Oh, and that's what, and you're like, oh, and by the end of it, you're like, oh, I get it. I never would have thought to even say it like that. But yeah, really, really enjoy her.
Damsel in This Dress song, I mean, I would have loved it. There's no way I can write that song, so it feels like I'm not working in that room, you know what I mean? I didn't write that song with her. I wish I had. And then the fireworks song, and I saw the title, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did that on my show. That show.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's almost 4th of July. No, I get it, And then I heard the song, and I was like, holy crap.
That's what I said to her when she finished it. I was like, I was like, wait, what? That's not how I expected that to end.
Oh, man. Me either. Tally texted me the song, and it said fireworks on it, and I was like, oh, okay. And, oh, man. And when it was over, I was like, okay, no, you got me.
Like, is that... At this stage of your success, where you've had so much and you are now really succeeding in other parts of the industry, not just writing songs, but is that like fulfilling to you to be a part of that, like that next generation and not feel like you have to put your fingerprint on it exactly, but be there for them in a way that makes them better?
100%. And I think that's how you stay excited. Like we've got guys and girls coming in there every day who are so excited to be there, and they're writing with. There's a guy, who you writing with? And they say a name, and it's like, oh, I don't even know who that is. You don't say that, of course, but like, their excitement excites me, and I still like beating them too. I like to beat them, and in the nicest way ever. I like to, destroy their dreams. No, it is exciting that as they get better and better and better, that it drives you to stay better and better and better too. And that's the only way you can stay that way, I think. By hearing what the new people, because how many times can we True and Blue and Dirt and Shirt and Love and Truck, and they're finding new ways to do it, which is amazing to me. I thought me and Jim and Derek Rattan and Jesse Eisner, we was like, but this has got to be the end. There's no way new people can come in and find new ways to do this, and they can. It's amazing.
So what do you spend most of your days doing now?
I write nearly every day. I love writing.
You're still just sitting down and writing songs. Get your laptop out and write.
4 or 5 days a week I'll do. And it's mostly artists these days, But I still love it. And I feel like, and I've heard a million times, the more creative you are, the more creative you are. So I don't want to stop doing that. I'm not sure what I would do, Otherwise, I would still be whatever I was doing. I would still be writing a song in my head, I think. I still love doing that, and I love when artists come in and you're solving the problem for them, and we need an up-tempo single, or we need a ballad, or we need a whatever, or helping them work on their idea. So I write every day. Tally runs everything in the office, and then I will, pop out to get a water, and she'll be like, hey, Jonathan, what about this thing's happening, this thing? We're like, okay, cool, we'll talk about it this afternoon. And she's got it. She's good at it and smart, and I'm aware of everything that's going on, but she's driving for sure.
You're writing songs. You're managing a bit, right? I mean, it sounds like you have personality. You have to manage a little bit, at least.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. In that way, managing.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean, it's definitely a different part of the brain.
Yeah.
What about the itch to perform? Because I mean,
it doesn't exist.
But you're really good, and you were really good, obviously. Maybe people don't know that version of you at this point if they've only been here 8 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't. But it did exist for a long time.
It did. It had died before I got here, I think. You know, we played bars since I was 15 or 16 years old.
It died, huh?
You know, in the way of what made that fun, you know. Once I kind of met my wife and I didn't want to, you know, drink too many beers or hang out and watch the sun come up, you know, it's like, okay, well, what am I doing? What am I doing then? It never was to me about the crowd and me feeding off the crowd. We played too many bars for that. It was, you had to find another thing that was interesting in that little bar where nobody was paying attention to you. And for me, that was the guys I was playing with, you know. And I still play with those guys. And I have at my house a little, we call it the party barn, and I have a stage and I have gear set up. And once every, you know, 2 or 3 months, we'll get together. My guitar player's now out on the road with Luke Combs, and then my drummer's with Eric Church, and the other guys are playing around town and stuff like that. So we'll kind of set a time, you know, a bunch of old guys will set a time, and we'll just go play songs.
That's an all-star band.
Yeah, we'll go play, and we did it, what was that, 3 or 4 weeks ago? We played a little bit and hung out and just, you know, hey, y'all remember this song? Let's play some song. And that feeds my itch, because that was the thing I loved, is hearing this guy play the song that I was singing, or this drummer play the song that I was singing. So I have no desire to go. I like playing songwriter nights, you know, sometimes.
What about playing guitar, though, just itself?
I
Obviously,
do
you're
it.
a big guitar guy.
I do it every day.
Do you sit at home and just play by yourself ever?
No. I mean, because I'm playing guitar all day, writing the song.
But if you're writing the song and playing, that's not, to me, you're playing guitar.
It's not woodshedding.
But wait,
yeah.
Do you still enjoy playing the instrument of the guitar?
Yes, and I get to do that in the studio a lot. I have a studio at the house, and I do a lot of stuff at home, and I play drums and bass and all that stuff. So I'll play acoustic on something, and then I'll play drums, and I've been doing that for 10 or 15 years. And then I'll play everything in the thing. So I get to play, you know, guitar solos, and I get to do that thing. But I've never been a great guitar player. I love guitar players. I love songwriters too. I'm still not sure I'm great. I'm great at that either. But I love guitar players, and I love tones, and I love this guy hears this way, and this guy hears it that way. But I've never been great at it. I have become pretty damn good at editor, so I know what I want to hear. I know what I think Vince Gill would play on guitar, so I'll just chop it up, and I can kind of make that happen in Pro Tools. You know, Vince, not compare my.
Yeah, I heard it. That's
Horrible.
the clip. That's the headline. Put that in the headline. Thinks he's Vince Gill. Insults Vince Gill. Yeah, that's what it is. Insults Vince Gill. This is what I want to play here. You were talking about it, and I just liked hearing you talk about it. I don't want to stop you while you're talking about it. But here is my Drive Your Truck punk version. Here you go.
You have it?
Drive your truck. I roll every window down and I burn up every back road in this town. I find a field, I tear it up till all the paint's a cloud of dust. Yeah, sometimes I drive your truck.
Jam. That's awesome. That's jam.
That's fun,
Jam.
right?
That's awesome. Chicken fried. Here you go.
You know I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio.
Yes, sir. And then When It Rains, It Pours. Here you go.
Sunday morning she woke up.
This was the jam. Hold on, stop it for a second. I love this one. The Green Day bass behind it.
You got to. It's Mike Dirnt.
Oh,
Green
I
Day
mean,
bass
it's
player
almost
with it,
like
yeah.
long view with like just slightly turned down with a better vocal.
Yeah.
And it's just, I want to just give it respect and say how much I love the bass line in this.
Thank you
As
very
you play it again. Go ahead.
Sunday morning she woke up fighting man. Bitching and moaning on about the time I had. And by Tuesday you could say that girl
It's not. It's and I get to why this. It's not even funny. It's awesome. It's so good. It's
Thank
a
you,
reinterpret.
man.
And I know you said like scratching some itch, doing something different, and I was like, do you ever? It's just awesome. It's so good. It shouldn't be that good. Hearing them like that, I should be like, that's hilarious.
Right.
But those are so strong.
Thank you, man. Thank you. There's a band called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes that was that did that years ago, and I forget the name of that record. How Do You Like Our Country or something like that, and they did with the Dixie Chick song, Earl.
Goodbye, Earl.
Goodbye, Earl. And it changed my whole life. I love punk music, and that is kind of my escape because it's still got to be musical, right? So on my way home, if my brain is fried, I put on NoFX, or I put on Fugazi, or I put on Bad Religion, or Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, or even Weezer can do that for me. Or I love Everclear, super Everclear fan. But I loved those, and it makes you feel something different. It doesn't feel like you're working. But I thought, how funny would it be if I just did, and I thought maybe I Drive Your Truck was too far, because I was like, because it is kind of funny, and I was like, well, that's not really a funny song. So I called Jesse Alexander. I was like, hey, I'm doing this stupid punk band thing. Can I do I Drive Your Truck? She was like, oh, please do that. But it was an escape. It was so fun. And where did y'all get that from?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about where we get stuff. We don't reveal our. No, we don't tell our sources. We're reporters, basically. It's just excellent.
Thank you, man. That's fun.
I do want to talk about Lainey, Lainey Wilson. I love her, and I mean, I knew Lainey before,
Yeah.
and so same person today, as then.
No doubt.
I just think it would be so cool to help somebody that you like really get their first number one, and that with Lainey, I mean, it changed her life.
Yeah,
And
Jason Nix was in that too. It's the first number one for him too. That was amazing. And Lainey, we did that number one party for the thing, and so that was the first time. It takes a long time for those songs to come out. So I don't remember when we wrote that song, but it had to be a year before that. It was early on, and seeing her as an artist then, which was fantastic. But then now she's doing press, like we're doing a number one party, and it's like there's press and there's things, and she has to look and smell and feel and do everything right. You know what I mean? And she's just so flawless at it. You know what I mean? And her personality is such in a Dolly Parton kind of way, where how do you not like Lainey Wilson? You're a real piece of trash if you don't like Lainey Wilson. And also a great song and a beautiful song, and I love that song. And it was wonderful to write it with her. I don't think we thought that would be a single,
because it was slow. Let's play a little bit, Mike. Things Man Oughta Know. Here we go. This is Lainey Wilson.
Yeah, I know a few things a man ought to know. How to know when it's love, how to stay when it's tough, how to know you're messing up a good thing, and how to fix it for
Again, you're probably not drawn to that as a single. Tempo is pretty slow.
Pretty slow.
It's a different.
Jay Joyce did the record, and it breaks in the middle a bunch, and it's like that's like a no on country radio. I mean, there was a lot of reasons for it not to be.
It's funny, those songs where there's a lot of reason for it not to be successful, when the occasional one, and that's what it takes, does become successful. It happens in such a big way because it's
100%.
different, and it wins ACM Song of the Year.
Yeah.
And launched her career.
Yeah.
So it's cool that the label took a chance on making it a single.
100%.
You guys wrote it like that, and Lainey's just delightful. We haven't put it out yet, but I don't care if people hear this. But we wrote a song called Opening Act. We were opening for Garth Brooks. Garth called and said, hey, I'm playing Razorback Stadium. It's 80,000 people. It's sold out. We don't need to sell any tickets. Just come and be the act right before me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I don't know about that.
How many people now?
80,000.
Oh, my goodness.
I just felt like people weren't going to understand that we're a comedy group.
Yeah.
And we're 80,000 people. And so my wife's like, you will kill. I'm from Arkansas. She's like, you will kill yourself if you don't do this.
Right.
And I was like, fine. So I accepted it. And I go and we play this song. It's Nobody Cares About the Opening Act. And we wrote it about us.
Sure.
And so I called Lainey. I said, hey, we're going to do this version with other artists that know really the grind of being an opening act.
Huh.
I said, so we've written this song. We put it on TikTok and it had like 1 million views, right?
That's awesome.
Playing it live. It was great.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to be on the verse? Do you want to do a verse? Lana's like, well, I ain't done a lot of comedy writing, but she goes, what? I was like, yeah, just write whatever you feel. It doesn't have to be funny.
Oh, you got her to write it also.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I sent her the whole song, but I sent her an empty verse that wasn't even in the song.
Yeah.
So
she kill it.
she came in with 2 verses.
Did she?
She came in, she goes, how about this one? And she sings it, and she's like, da 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 da. Do you have it, Mike? By any chance?
I don't have it.
Okay, because we haven't released it yet. We haven't even said that we were doing it together. But then she was like, because that's my first one. How about this one? And then she sings it, and I'm like, God dang, that's even funnier than the first one. And she's like, do you mind if I change the melody a little bit? I was like, no, this is what this is. Do whatever you. And then she changes the melody just a little bit, and she's so, even again as a writer, even writing comedy for us, which is something she wasn't comfortable in. She was so authentically, uncomfortably awesome.
Yeah.
That it just works, and that's kind of her personality. Like, she just is authentic.
Yeah.
And you're gonna like her, or you're gonna go like, wow, I can't believe she said that, but I like it that she said that, even though it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. And so it's really cool that you were able to be a part of that, because I like you and I like her, and that's a win for me.
Oh man, it was wonderful. I love that song. I'm still so proud of that song.
We're gonna wrap in a second, but the last couple things we've done an hour. I could literally do 2 hours with you.
Oh.
But I can't, because I got like important stuff to do. Yeah,
sure.
like
Other
people stuff.
important, bigger things.
I have an idea for a song. I got a couple here.
Okay.
First one is called Plural Rural Murals.
I love.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Plural rural murals.
So there's more than one.
Yes, in the rural, and you inspired. I thought of this while we were talking. So there's more than one. Wait,
Plural.
Rural murals.
So there's more than one out in the country.
Out in the country.
Murals, but so murals would be like graffiti on a
but it's
water
like,
tower thing, right?
And
or a bridge.
Sure, a mural. It's like a lot of it's a different things.
Rural murals.
Yeah.
Who's going to say, well, let's get Lainey to do that, because she can't even say those 3 words together. You don't even need the song. You just need a recording of her trying to say it fast. Say it fast 3 times, yeah.
So that's my first song idea.
I love that.
Plural mural. Dang it. Plural rural murals.
Or plural mural rules.
That doesn't work, though. I thought that, too.
You
but
did?
You need that now.
You had this before.
No, I thought that's why you were telling me about the word rural. And I was like, oh, that's a funny song idea. It's a comedy song about the plural rural mural. It's even hard to say. And then you get the crowd to sing it back on the second one, and they can't say it either.
This is you. So introduce your song, because you're.
I have no idea. I'll do it. Let's try it right now.
Let's go.
So
it's by Keith Urban.
I
by
have
the way.
no okay. Ooh, I have no melody, but it's like you're.
No, I mean like you're on the radio show.
No, I don't care about that. That's a whole different.
I want to hear that though.
Oh, I can set it up. Here's my latest song. It's a song about seeing art in the country, and then you see another piece of art. It's so unexpected. It's plural rural mural. See, it's hard to say. It's hard to get the crowd to sing back, and everybody has a good laugh. You're driving down a dirt road.
Maybe it's slow. Maybe it's a slow song.
Plural rural mural.
Plural. And then you can spread it out. You know.
Yeah, you don't want to spread it, though. You lose the comedy factor.
That's true.
If you can say it easily, everybody would say it.
That is true. Oh, I didn't know it was a funny song.
It has to be funny.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's funny. So that's it. You drive into the country and you see some art, and you're like, why is there art out here? I'm in the country. And then you see another piece of art, and you're like, holy cow, that's some plural rural murals out here.
Right.
Tell me that ain't a comedy hit that crosses over.
I love it.
Okay. Let me see what else I got here. Because do you keep a list on your phone of things?
I do. I got some funny ones.
You don't have to. You can even do real ones. Don't share anything that you're super precious about, because people will for sure steal them.
I don't care.
Okay. I have a song called Small Pee Pee Mobile. Now, here's the thing about Small Pee Pee Mobile.
Okay.
And why I'm nervous about sharing it with you. You have a big truck.
Right.
There. Yeah. And it's that song's kind of about that. Guys that are big trucks.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Why your tires so big?
I love that.
And you're driving your small pee pee mobile. Small pee pee mobile. Pee pee for wiener.
Yeah.
Playing wiener.
It could also be like a children's toy thing. That's a small pee pee mobile. Like if they got like a.
Yeah, it's mostly about your truck. I got the inspiration when I came
trying
over
to change
here.
it for you.
Yeah. Okay.
I had
Match
one
me.
called,
I gave you 2. Match me.
Yeah, I had one called, and I've played this for Jim. Country credit card, yeah. So he's out of money on his country credit card. He's a new artist in town, and you got to have a Filson jacket and some boots. So he's calling his dad and said, "Dad, can you put some money on my country credit card?" That was it. That was the whole idea.
Interesting. I'm going with Small PP Mobile still. Is my
Yeah,
next
well, my
single.
title was better.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like your country credit card. Like in the country, your credit card's a little different than what it would be in the city. Like
No, he's like buying country cred, though. You see what I'm saying?
I do now.
Okay, yeah.
now.
See, I didn't deliver
Yeah,
it well.
you know, people don't really know you for storytelling. So let's move on to something else. Okay, how about I'll be your little spoon, but I'm a dude singing it to a girl.
I love that.
And I'll be your little spoon.
You're in the front.
Yeah.
I love that. It's sensitive. You know, the times, it's perfect for that. Maybe you make it what is that called? Like you don't do boys, you don't do girls or men, or it's just, what is that called? It's not
Gender
either
neutral?
one. Like theys. It's all they.
It's a
and
gender neutral life.
gender neutral song.
When I go to sleep at night. I mean, we go.
I love that.
When I look into the sky and see the moon, I'll be your little spoon. That's not really it, but you know, who knows?
Yeah.
I got 3 there. Those are hits.
Moon and spoon is also another rhyme that I was.
That was harder for me to get to. Like
yeah.
that was a lot of bending and rhyming to get that one there. And then see if there's anything. Okay, I just gave you 3 excellent ideas. Do not steal them. If you do, if you win a Grammy, I will play this back. All right, but I think plural rural murals. There's always something to that.
Yeah. I have recently switched over.
I got more song
my
ideas.
thing. I don't have any of my funny ones
found them.
in here.
So some of my lines for a Small PP Mobile.
Yeah.
Is he having a midlife crisis or does he just hate the environment?
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
So that's just one line I wrote for that one. Okay, well, I guess
Yeah.
I thought I had more lines to that, but I guess that was just the only line I had there. Well, listen, you are one of my favorite people. Like,
Thank you, man.
Just love talking.
This is always fun,
Look,
man. You're so good at this.
We did easily an hour. It's so cool to see your publishing company thriving, and the fact that you've been able to do it at a high level for so long, and you're still going. I don't have it down because there's no such thing as having it down. I got to keep chasing what's coming at us.
100%. Yeah.
That's inspiring. Even
I would
for me to
not
hear.
say that I had it down, but
But you
I appreciate
could.
it. Yeah.
But with that many number one songs, I mean, I think just number one's 13 to 14. You have so many number ones aside from the producing, you could just go, I'm the best. I mean, I'm great. I've written 13 number one. Massive songs, too. Not just songs that hit number one and people forget about them because they rang the bell and the label pushed it up.
Right.
But
right.
Chasing Airplanes and Why Don't We Just Dance? Beer Never Broke My Heart. Those songs are massive and are going to be around for 10, 12, 15, 20 years.
I hope so.
Played.
Yeah. I hope so.
It's awesome. So
Thank
it's really cool that, Die From a Broken Heart, by the way, from Maddie and Tay, I told them that song was like their song to me.
Me too. I love that one. In the new version of Maddie and Tay. You know what was the first
Yeah.
one? There's
Girl
a
in the
great
Country
Girl in the
Song.
Country
Yeah.
song. It's great. But again, it was that, okay, these girls are older now. How do we do this? I love that problem. I love that problem and trying to help them figure it out. I love them so much. They're wonderful.
I want to leave with this, and you can leave a little serious nugget for people listening because we have a lot of songwriters that listen to this because I spent an hour with people who we were able to break down the craft a little more than you would in an 8-minute segment, right? And you talking about publishing and these writers that you're signing. As a songwriter, if somebody's listening and they're going, man, I think I'm good enough for a publishing deal, and they're sending stuff out, they're not feeling like they're being heard. It's a very difficult town to actually be heard, be listened to. What does someone do? How do they start being a songwriter for a living or getting with someone at a publishing company to listen?
It's different now than it used to be because we have social media. We have, so many ways of getting to those things.
How does someone get to you with a song?
Me?
Well, yeah, with 4 or 5 songs they feel super passionate about. How do they get to you?
That's a good question. I mean, we're usually going to people because we have so many. We have 13 writers that are great songwriters. So we're not like actively looking until something pops up. You know what I mean? But we're not looking in the same places that they are. I mean, it's a lot of like Tin Roof Revival. It's a lot of those things. There's songwriter nights in town. We're still doing those. We're still kind of scour those things. And 2 guys that we've signed are off of Instagram. That's still happening, and it's not.
Tag you and stuff, possibly? Just see
No,
if
don't tell. It was annoying.
Okay,
Don't do that.
Go to your house and play outside. John Cusack, hold the moonbox above the head.
Do. We get a lot of, hashtag 50 egg thing, and I think somebody probably looks at those. It's not me. I mean, I don't know that I'm on there anymore. I like to hang out with my kids, but yeah, I mean, it's probably songwriting. It's a lot of word of mouth. So if you're not, it's still the same old game that's go out and meet more songwriters and meet more songwriters. And you get better when you do that. And if you're not regimenting songwriting, then, and you have a backup plan, that's probably not going to happen anyway. You got to sit down and write those things and study and study and study the guys that you love. And that's what you do. I mean, I know that's what the new guys are doing. And we got a new guy over there at White McCummon. It's just one of my favorite songwriters. And everybody's doing it in a different way. He's not crazy on TikTok or Instagram or doing those things. But it was a lot of times it's like the people that we love and songwriters in town that don't have publishing companies. We're in a great position. Me and a few other guys, Ashley Gorley and Dallas Davison, of people going, other songwriters that are in town and going, oh my God, have you heard this guy? And I get those a lot now, which is great. So that's the way to do it. It's work like anything else. You will work. There's nobody's going to call you and go, hey, man, you got any songs? There's too many people here that are great and they're working their butts off to try to get them heard, Yeah. And it's not knocking on doors anymore. They still do that, by the way.
Well, listen, I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to make it not awkward here. I'm not going to accept a publishing deal from you guys for.
Okay.
I know you've heard 3 great ideas, and that's all you need to hear to know. I mean, I came up with those while we're sitting here. For 2 of them, I came up while I'm sitting here with you. 1, I already had small PPM go in my mind. But I'm going to pass on this deal.
Okay.
But maybe next time around.
And I could get you in touch with some
I'm
people.
Good. I don't want to be in touch with anybody. I don't want to be in touch with me. I'm all good on touch. I'm
So
touched
you're just
out.
going to keep your...
Yeah, I'm going to keep my other jobs.
Yeah.
We're doing okay right now. So, but
And so you get to keep your publishing too, which is is a good thing. Yeah.
I'm really rich off that.
But you should really meet, I can't even think. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Look, you are awesome, and I could compliment you. I just like hanging out with you. Thank you for coming over. Really
Thank
appreciate
you, man.
that.
I appreciate it too. This is fun.
There he is. That's our guy right there, Luke Combs. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.